Thanks for the opportunity to be here today. I'm going to talk about production agriculture, also known as precision ag, its impact on farmers, the USDA, and crop insurance companies. A key way to help farmers, the government, and taxpayers realize the benefits of precision ag technology is to open the third-party channel and allow producers to report from home. This can be done with commercial software, much like the IRS did in 1986 by allowing taxpayers to use products like TurboTax to report their acres. To me, the most impressive pieces of precision ag are the sensors connected to control systems that run the equipment. This technology allows farmers to achieve better yields, use fewer resources, and reduce the impact on the environment, and ultimately meet world food demand. The adoption rate is increasing. Estimates say that precision ag is already used on 70% of acres. A significant byproduct is data. Farmers and ranchers are collecting all sorts of information, but they're last to the trough to get benefits from their own data. Both FSA and crop insurance agents require farmers to submit an annual report of farm acres, but we don't make it easy for them. Farmers use precision ag start with an electronic version of their planting information, including the exact geographic location of each and every seed in the ground. The current reporting process will see that data translated somewhere between 3 and 8 times, back and forth between tabular data and maps, from electronic to paper and back, all to end up in electronic form where it started, but in government systems. For 7 years, the USDA has been working on a new system to share common information electronically between agencies. For the past 3 crop years, farmers have been able to report the common information just once, either to the FSA or their crop insurance agent, and have that information electronically shared with the other. This is a good step and a direct result of the Acreage Crop Reporting Streamlining Initiative, Accuracy, which was reauthorized in the 2014 Farm Bill. The reporting standards for RMA and FSA includes geospatial data, the map, along with crop and acreage information, but much of that information is not required, which causes 2 problems. First, even if a crop insurance agent collects the geospatial data, and many do, they don't provide it to the FSA because it's not required. And second, FSA and RMA don't exchange that optional data, the maps, with each other, so because the data is incomplete, the other agency doesn't use it. Frustrated farmers must still visit both the FSA county office and their crop insurance agent and share the same information to complete reporting. 3 main reasons for the visit. First, farmers must validate and sign their acreage report in each office. Second, farmers must provide program-specific information to the second agency that wasn't collected by the first agency. And third, farmers need to complete their maps. The USDA knows it's a problem and is actively working on it. In 2015, as part of the Accuracy Initiative, FSA conducted a pilot for electronic acreage reporting using precision ag data. One of the things the pilot tested was allowing farmers to use third-party commercial software to use their acres. Independent data management using MyAgData was selected to test that channel, and the pilot was an overwhelming success. MyAgData was a bridge because it included words, numbers, and maps. Not just the required data, but also the optional data, and one report could be used for both FSA and RMA. Because the data was more precise, participants reported an average of 4.7% fewer acres. That means a lower insurance premium for the farmer, decreased premium subsidy funded by taxpayers, lower indemnity for crop insurance companies and the RMA, and a reduction in claims because yield was not diluted across unplanted acres. Think of the numbers with expanded use. If 25% of the acres were reported using a grower's actual field boundary, and the average reported acres were 4.7 lower, producer premiums and taxpayer subsidies could be reduced by up to $179 million annually. That's a conservative number, but $179 million is a reasonable number to expect with 25% of acres. And that's only insurance premium. What are the savings on indemnities? What if this also applied to farm programs? Again, just using map tools to do reporting changed the agency's visit length from hours to minutes, and despite the success, the third-party channel remains closed. USDA can accept the standard. They share it between agencies today. Both FSA and RMA understand the benefits, and the FSA union supports it. All that's required are minor system changes. Farmers plant fields. Let them report what they plant. It's more accurate. It saves time and money for farmers and the agencies, and it takes taxpayer dollars. Complete, accurate data is the lifeblood of farm programs, crop insurance, and conservation programs. The data's already being collected. Let's use it. Thank you.
So with regard to data and analytics, how can the federal government not only remain flexible, but also help usher in new technologies? So that's question number one. And is there a role for the USDA staff on the ground or our university extension programs? Anybody can take that first, and nobody needs to repeat what the person ahead of them said, but whoever would like to address that first, and then we'll just kind of go through the list. And you've got an Illinois connection, right?
I grew up in Illinois.
Then you go first.
All right. I'll take that. I moved out of Illinois when I was 16, though, so.
Okay, then you get moved.
All right. Wasn't my choice.
No, go ahead. All right.
All right.
You're all right.
In terms of ag data and analytics and how the USDA can provide a role, a big part of it is providing best management practices for farmers. And I'll use an example that impacts the central sands of Wisconsin as well as northern Illinois. With potatoes grown in sandy soil, they're typically irrigated, and if you use the data collected on the sensors, and it's a combination of sensors, it's the sensors that understand the nitrates coming through the soil to know when you need to apply your fertilizer, your pesticide, or, I mean, if you apply it right after or right before a rain, it's going to go right down through to the place. It's not going to affect the top 8 inches in water growth. So county extension and county offices, specifically on the NRCS side, can definitely help farmers understand data, available options, and what farming practices they need to use. And I'll couple that with add EQIP dollars to, in the case of irrigated potatoes in sandy soils, add EQIP dollars to help the producer pay for what could be a $50,000 investment in technology. But for potatoes, if you manage them correctly, your no stores go from 8 truckloads to 1 truckload if you manage irrigation. So there's a whole lot of benefits if there's the right research study and best practices that a farmer can use, plus funding to help them get that technology in place. So that's one example.
Thank you.
Much of the discussion today is around commodities. Crops. And so one of the question I have, and this is to any of the witnesses, how can technologies that you work with help fruit and vegetable growers? And are there unique benefits of data technology and the discussion we have about increased broadband technology for specialty crops?
You know, I would like to just offer one of the comments one of the panelists made. It's very true, is these technologies really do translate. And we see a lot of tech that originates in California, and especially crop area, and almost immediately it's across the country, it's out in the commodity crops. In a way, my viewpoint is that these are technologies that are going to be useful across a lot of different crops, especially the data.
Mm-hmm.
What I would add to that is production agriculture, your row crops, is very different than your fruits, nuts, and trees in terms of how I'd apply technology. If I were looking at fruits, nuts, and trees, I'd focus more on your aerial imagery. I mean, the technology is such that you can count the number of tomato plants in a field very accurately using the automation, whether it's 3 to 5 meter imagery or drones. So I think the application of technology will vary depending on the crops, but I also agree you can try to cross, but you know you're not going to put a tractor in an area where you're counting your trees and your fruit on those trees. So aerial imagery and some of those kinds of things are far more expensive.
Yeah.
Than the production agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
but there are a lot of pretty neat things that are happening. I'll call it in garages and homes and those kinds of things, but not a lot that, as Billy said, is good for mainstream specialty growers.
I know that, you were talking before about fertilizer and the time in which to put that. I mean, I think that for specialty crop growers, that's an issue as well. Yep. In the Virgin Islands, we go from drought to heavy rains, and having technology to help the farmers support irrigation issues, which are really important for them, and how to regulate that would be something that, this technology would be really supportive of as well.
Yeah, and there you may want to start with sensors, soil sensors and moisture flow as a pretty simple internet-connected device to collect a lot of data.
I know that our extension, the University of the Virgin Islands, the extension is doing a lot in terms of sensors, but the technology probably isn't going to come from the extension. It's going to come from other high-tech places, and then being able to apply those or something that would be really helpful.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you for sharing with us. Obviously, technology is critical to the continued operation of our farming industry, and of course we've made tremendous strides, and of course y'all been a part of that, and appreciate all your efforts in making these things work. We're working through the Farm Bill, the next Farm Bill, and in the 2014 Farm Bill it was clear that USDA should allow producers or an agent of a producer to report data, including geospatial data, electronically or conventionally, to the department. This provision was designed to reduce administrative burdens and costs for producers. Ms. Is it Caruso? Casarella, sorry. Do you have some insight on why this is not being done?
Yeah, I'm not even sure where to start. First, it's the...
Well, we got 3 minutes and 55 seconds.
Okay. No, I'd say first it's the uncertainty of, well, no, first the farmer doesn't even know it's happening to them. So if you're going into the FSA or you're going into your crop insurance agent and the FSA sends the data to crop insurance and the crop insurance data through their crop insurance company sends the data to the FSA, the producer doesn't know it's happening. They also don't know it's incomplete data. And the whole farming industry is conditioned to have data match. So when they go into the FSA county office and they get their 578 and they report 32.78 acres that equals their CLU, and then they go into their crop insurance acres and report 31.2 acres of insurable acres for their crop insurance, if there's a GAO audit or a compliance or a claim, what are valid acres? Is it the acres that they reported in crop insurance that are probably the acres that they planted in the field or the acres that they certified in FSA? I mean, there's still so much confusion on the impact to a farmer, the impact on the FSA program. So if I report accurately, do my base acres change? Well, not in this farm bill, but will they in the next one? So
that's why we're talking about it. Again, we're working on the next farm bill.
Yep.
And we need to get this. We need to get this solved. Do you or any of the panel have any idea how we can solve this?
I'll say, one thing. Let the farmers plant the acres they plant. Let the farmers report the acres they plant. It doesn't have to be farm track field. It doesn't have to be common land unit. And let the government figure out then if I plant a boundary and it covers 3 CLUs or within 1 CLU, come up with the rules for how to handle that data. Okay. But don't make the government report with boundaries that are set anywhere from 5 to 25 years ago that maximize producer benefits. Let the farmers report what they report and give the agencies the dollars to be able to adapt the program to collect actual data.
Okay. Thank you so much for your feedback. Any other comments regarding?
What I'll add to that is right now it takes a technician to get the data. So I'll use an example of a farm in Illinois. It's all enabled with technology, sensors, everything else, and the only time they're connected is when that tractor ends up back in the shed. They turn on their mobile device and stream that data. So it's all after the fact, and it's there. It's just really hard to get at, and again, takes a technician to figure out how to get the data anywhere. It's complicated. Instead of letting the sensors talk to the cloud, which provides the information to the producer.